This season on Survivor, the challenges are tougher than ever, the drama gets real, and the wild gets more intimidating by the second. So far, Survivor has visited some of the most dangerous places on the globe, but this year, we brought the game to the most brutal location of all, the Northampton High School Transcript.
Hi, I'm Mayan, and I'm so excited to be competing on season 339 of Survivor.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to season 339 of Survivor.
This is an odd place for Survivor this year, but trust me, I'm ready for anything.
We are going to test the merits of your merits, the skills of your skills.
Hi, I'm Shira, and nothing and nobody is gonna get in my way.
What are you doing?
Rules are rules. Introduce yourself.
I'm Spencer.
Whether or not you take a pass to the bathroom, that is what we're doing this season.
Hi, I'm Levi.
And I'm Henry.
We are the first twins to ever compete on Survivor, so this is kind of a big deal.
This season is not about just merely surviving, no. It's about achieving greatness on the transcript in this class, 4 grades, and not to get yelled at by me.
My name is Connor. I will do whatever it takes to win.
You won't be able to vote me out. I will be immune every single week.
You will join me in a quest to make the fastest transcript episode ever. Are you with me? Put the phone away.
Can you tell us your name? Do you want to win this game?
I'm Travis. This is my 6th time on Survivor. I know everything there is to know about this game, though I've never actually won.
I'm Ryan, and nothing's gonna stop me from winning this.
Can you take your mask off? We can't hear you.
You're ruining this for me, you know.
Come join me for this as we go into the abyss. I am not Jeff Probst. I am Jeremy Whalen, and this is Survivor.
I'm August.
And I'm Rose.
And welcome to the Transcript Season 15. This week, the Transcript learns more about NHS's new grading system.
We talk to people affected by the summer flooding.
Hamped Up looks into the Faculty Fantasy Football League.
We explore the new cell phone policy.
And we take a trip to the Bridge of Flowers.
Extreme rainfall in Greece, Bulgaria, and Turkey has caused severe flooding, resulting in over 800 rescues and at least 16 fatalities across the 3 countries, with 6 in Greece alone. In other news, the star of That 70s Show, Danny Masterson, has been sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for sexually assaulting 2 women during the early 2000s. In local news, a petition opposing Northampton's Main Street redesign, aimed at improving safety and revitalizing the downtown area, has collected over 1,000 signatures in 2 weeks. Supporters argue it's necessary for pedestrian safety and the local economy, while critics are concerned about construction disruptions and traffic congestion. I'm Eli Hiranandani, and thanks for watching.
With several new initiatives being implemented this year at NHS, one of the most important changes is the shift away from standards-based grading. Last year, NHS relied exclusively on standards-based grading. It's a grading system that grades students based on set standards on a scale of 1 through 4. This week, we interviewed teachers to find out why the school made the decision to change, how they are reacting to the changes, and how it impacts students.
Standards-based grading, there's a lot sort of in it, but basically it's the idea that what you're grading is not a particular assignment or like task that you're required to do in class or for homework, but rather something that you know how to do. Like you're graded on what you know or what you can do. And what I've seen basically is that rather than doing assignments because they're required, students are doing assignments because they sort of recognize that it's useful. So it's really it looks to me like a mindset change between we are doing things because the teacher told us to we're doing things because they're useful things to do. I felt like that was a good switch. It feels more like you're grading what you actually want as far as results in what students are able to do.
So standards-based grading is trying to give feedback on kind of either learning standards or learning objectives. It's trying to tie the reporting and the grading of students' performance to specific standards or objectives so that students have a clearer sense of what things that they are doing well and what things they have more room to improve upon. So I prefer standards-based grading to traditional grading because I think it gives extra direction to students. I think if you get back a test and the test says you got an 87, I don't find that super informative. It doesn't tell you what you did well. It doesn't tell you what specifically you need to improve upon. So I think it conveys just more information than just a number.
What was complicated about standards-based grading in this building was that there has to be a lot of rollout in terms of building and creating standards because oftentimes the state standards are a bit unclear. What I found to be the biggest challenge was A, communicating with students and their caregivers about where they were academically, but B, was teaching students what we refer to as soft skills. Part of being a student is learning how to participate in class. It's learning how to do all the work that leads up to an assessment. And so what I found would happen often is students would ask if this would count it as a standard. And if the answer was no, sometimes the work wouldn't happen. And that meant that assessments then became really challenging for kids because they hadn't done any of the pre-work. As a teacher, I prefer more traditional grading. It's a language that students speak, and students that want to go to college, it's a language that they speak, and it's a system that's understood. So in terms of communicating, traditional grading makes sense. The important part of standards-based grading, making sure that student learning is relevant, was something that we were already doing, but the numbers that correlated to grades wasn't a language that people understood, and that was the important part.
Remember, grades are checked on Aspen this year and not Otis. Good luck.
Welcome to Shelburne Falls. In October of 2023, the Bridge of Flowers located in Shelburne Falls is closing down for renovation. The bridge which connects Shelburne Falls and Buckland has recently been discovered to be in need of many repairs, which includes displacing all of the flora and fauna. The reconstruction will start in spring of 2024 and is hopefully going to be completed in spring of 2025. This week, we talked to Shelburne Falls local businesses and the Bridge of Flowers Committee to see their point of view on this massive project.
We have a great relationship with the Bridge of Flowers Committee and the community as a whole. Obviously, we're right at the end on the Shelburne side, so people coming off the bridge and going out of the bridge are walking right past our space. So it's kind of it gives something else for people to do as they cross the bridge. It also lets people sit and enjoy the area longer than it takes just to walk across. It's great for us because there's 60-some thousand people that cross the bridge every year, maybe more. And it's a great location. It's a great relationship.
Our committee, we're a committee, Bridge of Flowers Committee, and we're volunteers. So we've been working with the businesses so that they can hear what we're doing, make suggestions. Really, we're trying to team with them. And so we'll probably be offering things. We're going to have an art show in October, which will be our very first one. And the importance of having an art show is to profile a Bridge of Flowers and the artists in the local community and bring them. And we'll be looking at doing other things throughout the year to help with the economy.
I think the closing of the Bridge of Flowers next year for repairs is going to have a big impact on the business. It remains to be seen how much, because we're still not sure how much the construction is going to affect this end of the bridge. with it being closed, obviously tourists won't be coming and crossing over the bridge. There was some concern early on that this end of the bridge would be all dug up and they would use it as a staging area for all their equipment. It sounds like that might not happen now. So we're going to have to just try to adapt and adjust to get people to come here that maybe would only come over here if the bridge was open. So
some of the considerations that were part of our decision to close was based on an engineering study that was done prior to the pandemic, so say 2019, 2018, and they discovered that there was a very large crack on the north side and a bulge of the structure on the north side. And they also did some digging to find out that some of the what are called tie rods that go from one side of the bridge to the other, there's multiple ones along the way, were missing. There is a water main that goes from this Shelburne end all the way over to the Buckland end. And that runs right through the bridge. And that has to be replaced. Because if something happens with that, I mean, it's been, probably was replaced in the mid-'80s. And if something goes wrong with that water main, the Buckland side of town doesn't have water.
Thanks for watching. The Bridge of Flowers closes in October of 2023, so make sure to stop by before the end of the season. See you next week.
Every year, some of the NHS faculty and staff start off the new year with a fantasy football draft. Fantasy football is a game that allows one to be the owner and coach of a personalized NFL team. Competition between other players is determined by real-life points scored in football games. We talked to some of the players among the NHS staff.
Fantasy football is interesting to me just because I have never had a shot of being a football player, so it's like the closest I will get. It's just fun. It's fun to manage. It's fun to like work in a school and see the people that you're playing against. So you have a good week, you can talk a little smack. You have a bad week, you avoid that person, and yeah, it just makes it more fun, and it's a good way to go through football season. Hopefully everyone's going to exceed their expectations. I drafted super late, so I'm not sure how the draft order was selected. The word is it was random. It felt like I got kind of put towards the end. I got second place last year, so they put me at 12th out of 14. Kind of have a disadvantage, so I'm hoping that that things work out. Got to work the waiver wire. Looking forward to just winning, you know, putting together a good season. Like I said, I got second place last year, so trying to improve off of that. There's no place to go but number one, and that's what I'm looking for.
I think this is going to be the 4th or 5th year of the Northampton Faculty Fantasy Football League. I've been the commissioner since its culmination and founder, so I am the brains behind this whole operation. Fantasy football interests me because it's a way to develop community with my fellow colleagues here at the high school. We often are talking to each other in kind of professional or business ways all day, and it's a good way to kind of interject some fun and excitement in a casual way into our everyday lives. My team specifically is probably the best. Everybody has to go off of what I do, and so not everybody can be the best. The draft happened, but the thing that I'm looking forward to this season is embarrassing the competition. When I win, I talk a lot of trash, and I hope that the others don't cry as much as last year.
Good luck to all the participants in their upcoming games. See you next week.
Over the summer, raging rainstorms caused flooding all over the East Coast. Western Massachusetts was hit hard. Due to the storms, areas such as the Oxbow and other parts of Northampton were completely flooded for days. Areas near the Connecticut and Mill River were especially affected. Many local farms suffered extreme damage due to the flood, facing partial or full crop loss. We spoke to farmers as well as others to learn more about the impact of the floods and what can be done to support them going forward.
We lost about 45 acres or so of all of our main season crops. So it was pretty catastrophic for us. We lost all of our potatoes and sweet corn and peppers and eggplant, all of our tomatoes. The farm land that we farm is floodland. It normally floods in or the early part of the season, and then it floods again, long after we have any crops in there. But the last time it flooded this time of year was about 50 years ago. And we are still going to continue farming that land. I mean, it's part of why that land is so fertile and productive is because it's in the floodplain. And so I think that we're going to try to hedge our bets a little bit better, and not put plant so heavily down there. And then, farming is all about adapting. And so I think that that's something that we're always trying to figure out. The community has been great. I mean, we are a community supported agriculture farm. So this is kind of what the model of CSA is designed for. We did a GoFundMe, which raised quite a bit of money. It covered, a good portion of what we lost. And, in terms of like the, support, just like verbally, I mean, people have been very kind and encouraging, which has been really helpful as we've tried to figure out how to go forward.
The process for assessing damage that was caused by the floods was we proactively went out to both Western Mass and Central Mass to visit farms. So at the Department of Agricultural Resources, we have a produce safety team, and they work closely with many of the farms in the valley and across the state. And so they started after July 10th when the flood hit, meeting with farms, taking in phone calls about impacts. Over 100 farms were impacted by the floods, totaling over 15 million in economic losses of crop loss. And there were over 40 different types of crops that were impacted. We realized that providing monetary support would be the best way to support the farming community. And one of the initiatives we actually launched today at the department is a natural disaster ag fund. And the fund was initially funded at $20 million. And that will help to cover not only the flood event, but the February 4th freeze and the May 18th frost events that impacted quite a few farms as well. Within a week of the flood events, we brought together community organizations and partners from Central and Western Mass, and they were able to launch the Mass Farm Resiliency Fund, which has currently raised over $3 million. With climate change becoming more frequent and more extreme across the state, at the department, we've recognized the need to help farmers be more resilient. And one of the ways in which we're doing that is we're establishing an internal climate change task force to be able to look at our current grant programs and our policies and adapt those so that they're responsive when these type of weather events happen.
If you would like to help support affected farms, visit the link below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
In our last episode of Cold Open Ninjago, the Green Ninja has saw the news that Sensei Wu has been taken down by one only Lord Garmadon, aka just Garmadon. Unfortunately though, Lord Garmadon has been killed, and now he's fallen to the ground, and now the Green Ninja has to destroy the snake.
This is unacceptable, Green Ninja. There's no way you're going to stop me at all costs.
Leave me out of your dumb plans, flammable snake. Otherwise I'll put you out of your misery.
We'll see about that, Green Ninja. You pathetic things cannot stop me now, even with your dumb toy weapons.
Ninja, go!
Haha! I fooled you this time, Green Ninja. I am not the flammable snake. I am one of the Serpentine.
You won't sabotage me that easily, Serpentine thingy, whatever you're called. Well, that's a really good thing I've heard of it, but still.
I am not the sabotager. This is so good. I want to eat you up like a donut convention of all times.
Well, since I lost my nunchuck, I still have this. Haha!
Alright, you win. I give. Anyways, you can have your nunchuck back. I don't want your stupid nunchuck. I am out of here!
Yahoo!
Just stand so still. We say, go, go. You gotta see us rip into it. Just jump on the cake back, whip around and spin. And then we jump back to it again.
Thanks so much for watching. The NHS improv troupe Funktionlust is holding auditions this Thursday, the 14th, in the community room from 5:30 to 7. See you next week.